present, I'm retired from working outside my own work, and I teach one class a year for Seattle Pacific University. I teach printmaking, which is a handful. Some form of printmaking is true of nearly every culture, and in the Western world, typically it's engraving and woodcuts and lithography and silkscreen and things like that. We continue to use it as artists because you can do beautiful work, and there's really no other way to make an etching than to do an etching. It started here much more like a handy whittling thing to illustrate Bibles and to illustrate broadsheets as an education tool. Like any of the basic art systems, it changes with time and history and the culture. Fine craftsmanship makes me smile when it's put together with an effective, a good idea or a good grasp of, a composition that's believable, that sucks me in, whether it's literal or made of components. It takes you, like any composition for any art, it takes you away from where you are and introduces you to something new, expands your thinking. It makes it possible for people to have real and special work for themselves. Well, one of my favorite little friends that a lot of people don't realize is there is a beautiful print owned by us, Seattle Art Museum. And it's Rembrandt's Three Trees, and it's an etching. It's very beautiful. And when you get to see it, you become acquainted with it. So you watch for it when you go. It isn't always up, but nearly so, somewhere.
I went to a show at the Tacoma Art Museum in 1989, and there was a print show by Picasso, and I got really excited by what I saw, came back and started doing it in my kitchen. That's how my first love for printmaking started. I wanted to have access to a press, which was really hard back in the late 80s. So I thought that if I had a press, I would be able to share it with other people, which was something I was really interested in having a community. Came pretty fast, and then my father was very excited. He's a rare father who loves her child to be an artist, so he helped me with the press and with the purchases to start the studio. It means a lot because every time I walk through it, I can see artists working, and it's really inspiring to me. And it's also a sense of a community and a vibrancy and a lot of wonderful art coming out and sharing. Our byline is for aspiring and experienced artists. I'm not going to pick one particular piece of artwork because one of the things that I love about printmaking is I love many different techniques. When I do my own artwork, I use several techniques like etching, linoleum, wood blocks, silk screen, and I mix them together. The making of the plate is perfectly unique. There's only one plate in the entire world that does this image. And even because it's all hand-pulled, there is a real individual attention given to each print anyway. In the end, even though somebody might be very good at reproducing the print the same way, there is really the real person is in each print. I think a rich community and a rich life as an artist is to not feel like you have to be limited to just one way of doing things. That's the beauty of being an artist. You can reinvent yourself a lot. Always figure out the way to come back to the root of art making, because we need a world where people have their hands dirty to make things work. It can't all be computerized. I think it's really important.
Well, when I was working, I did publications a lot, and I did layout and design and took things to the print shop and just fell in love with paper and ink, typesetting, everything, presses, everything about printing. And then when I moved to Seattle, I met printmakers, joined the Seattle Print Arts. One thing leads to another. I don't go in with necessarily a fixed idea. I just let it grow kind of organically as I'm working on the plate. My style is exploration. I think probably I'd describe it as multi-layered, complex imagery. The value for me is the process, the creative process. Well, the challenge is to do it, to get over to the studio and work. And you can get out of the groove and not be back in the studio for a while, and then kind of getting over the hump and getting back into work. That's challenging. To have some formal art training and know about composition, content, color, understand color, helps a lot. Try it out and don't get uptight. Be relaxed. Let surprises happen. Sometimes happy accidents are the best stuff. Oh, well, I'm retired, and so, of course, part of me says, Marcia, you should volunteer in the community. But you know what? I'm just having too much fun.
I had done printmaking as a kid with my mom on our kitchen table. We would heat up linoleum in the oven and then carve it on our kitchen table. So when I went to college, I was really interested in drawing and painting, but they had a really beautiful a print shop. So I just started taking classes and really fell in love with all the processes. So I've been doing it since, printmaking specifically, since about 1999, I think. So for me, it feels like I don't know, like a really easy to follow dance because I already know the steps. Seattle is a city, and the people that live in it and the artists have a sense of energy that I haven't experienced in the rest of the country that I've lived in. And that really influences my productivity as an artist, because I feel that I'm as productive as the people around me, and it gets really exciting to see other artists working on a really regular basis and have access to their work and, you know, be excited together. And it's choosing which ideas are the ones that you want to talk about and having the clarity of thought to get from the beginning of, you know, that inspiration to the final piece. As a child, I only had two goals in life, and one was to be a clown in a circus and the other was to be an artist. So my mom probably encouraged me to be an artist more than a clown, but I was really serious about being a clown. I still maybe am. I would love it. So if I wasn't an artist, I probably would be a clown. I would say learn every process you possibly can and learn how to combine those processes with other processes. Because often I meet printmakers that have spent so much time working on one process that they don't know the possibilities of the other processes. I think it's good to just experiment with each process and really get to know it as best as you can.
The studio just came about because we started organizing these print exchanges where we'd get printmakers to do an edition of 13 prints or 15 prints. Then they would send them to us, we would send them 13 prints back, and then we would do a show. And we got more and more people involved, and it grew from being about 30 people to the next one being about 90, then 200. And I try to make it as affordable as possible for people. So this is really sort of my way to help promote printmaking and really make it accessible to people by making it affordable, and then also providing a lot of the equipment and everything that people would need. You know, we'll let people come in and print for a day for money or beer or a print, whatever. It's I just try to make it accessible for people. In terms of the actual printmaking, the experience of physically printing the plate, that's all hands-on. I mean, you would draw on a limestone, and through some chemicals and whatnot, you would actually be able to print off of this limestone. And I don't know if there's anything the more opposite to a computer than drawing on a stone and then printing it. It's not so much a career, it's kind of a way of life. It's a mentality. So I would wonder either how lost I would be if I didn't have art, because it's an outlet. And go to art galleries, go do the art walk, go see art, because there's so many people who don't do that, who just they don't know it's right there. Seattle's a great place because there's a lot of public art, there's a lot of people doing installations, doing demonstrations. So I would say, and what I always tell people is, don't expect it to just come to you. Go participate. There's a First Thursday art walk where galleries are free. The Seattle Art Museum, go check them out from time to time. Go look online. There's some websites like Printeresting or Inkdiraction. I don't know why everybody has to make it a clever phrase, but they do. And the great thing about printmaking is that it's really affordable to collect prints, especially from other like young college kids or young artists. And so I'd really encourage people to allow themselves to kind of become part of that art culture. And then the one leg. It's amazing.
All my life I've drawn and made stuff, and my mom and sister encouraged me, my dad too, everybody in my family always encouraged me to do stuff. My mom was making books for me to draw in and stories to write, and pretty much just always been encouraged to do it, always wanted to do it, and always did it. My sister's a painter, and she took a printmaking class and encouraged me to take it, and I just fell in love with it. It's kind of a good combination for me of, you know, the cleanliness of the finished print, but also the real messy kind of grittiness of making the print and the inks and the acids and everything. I really like that. At the core, I like to draw beautiful pictures. I'm not gonna lie. And I just really like lights and darks and really dark contrast, really high contrast. Not much of a colorist. I do use color in my paintings, but I really am drawn to the darks and lights mostly, which is why I like etching, because you can get that deep contrast. When you pull back the paper after doing a print and you can see, you know, what you've been working on for sometimes months, it's really satisfying. So I'm trying to evoke emotions in my artwork, and if someone says that it makes them look internally and think of an experience in their lives and kind of bring that back, that's really satisfying too. Trying to make a living is probably the most challenging part. It's really nice when people, you know, viewers of your work relate to it and love it so much that they want to buy it and look at it every day. I always wanted to be a marine biologist when I was a kid, so I'd probably be doing that. I'd be working at an aquarium or something with sea otters and dolphins and stuff. First, just experiment. If you're interested in something, either take a class or find out more at an art store and just kind of do it. The best part about printmaking and really any art is, especially in school, is that that's the time when you can experiment and make mistakes and do whatever you want with no consequences. And also, Seattle's a great place to see art almost anywhere. You know, cafes, restaurants, as well as galleries just are packed with art. And so just go out to one of the art walks, or, you know, open your eyes at one of the restaurants that you happen to be in, and almost always they're for sale, and there's people that know things about them, and so they'll be willing to talk to you about it. And yeah.